I'm making this mantel out of clear alder. Now, it's not real clear alder in the sense that it's just a natural hardwood, but I'm using 3/4 inch thick plywood. It's a very stable product that I don't have to worry about twisting and cupping and bowing nearly as much as I do with real wood. With plywood, there's always an A side and then there's always a B side. The B side looks kind of crummy and the A side looks a lot better. So what I like to do is I put the A side up, and that way I can see everything that's really pretty and I can avoid different knots that I don't want to have. The first thing I'm doing is I'm just going to rip off one side of this at a square 90-degree angle, and that way I have a perfect reference point that I can go off of. You never know if one of these sides has been dinged up a little bit or what's going on with it, but I know if I cut a perfectly straight line, it's going to be awesome and a lot easier than having to trust something that I didn't cut myself. I got this straight edge at Home Depot. This is a Husky brand and it goes out to 100 inches. And it has been awesome. I spent 50 bucks on it, and it is a lot easier to use this than to use just like a long level or a long piece of wood. This is awesome. It actually breaks into 2 pieces. So this piece separates in the middle and is held together with some screws and a tab. So if I want to do something a little smaller, like if I'm cutting down a door, I don't have to use this long of a straight edge. I'll put a link in the description below if you guys are interested in getting the same thing. All right, now that I have a nice, clean, straight edge, what I'm doing is I'm setting my circular saw to a 46-degree angle. It can be a little less, about like 45.8, 45.5, that's gonna be okay. But you don't wanna do it right on at 45, because if you do, there's no room for the glue to go anywhere. And then if you screw up just a little bit, it's just gonna be an open miter. And if you do it with a little bit more of an aggressive angle, it's gonna make sure that the points of the miter line up the way they need to. This is a little digital angle finder. Okay, so what I've done is I'm gonna stick it on the blade and I'm gonna zero it out. Like so. And now I'm gonna double check to make sure that I'm actually at a 46-degree angle. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm using this simple little jig to figure out how far away from my actual mark where I wanna cut my miter do I need to set up my straight edge. So all I've got is my speed square clamped to the scrap piece of wood, and now I'm going to run my circular saw on it at the angle that I've got set, and I'm going to see how far away it cuts. So now measuring from here to here, I'm showing on my saw it's 3 9/16 of an inch. So I know I want this piece to be 6 inches wide. So I'm going to do a mark at 6 inches, and I'm going to go 3 9/16 away from that mark. I'll do this on both sides. Now I have my straight edge set, I'm gonna make my first angled rip. All right, so I want this mantle to be 6 inches deep and 6 inches tall. So that's why I cut the bottom one from the flat 90-degree to the tip of my miter is at 6 inches. So I'm gonna do the same thing here, but now I'm gonna cut out the middle piece. So I'm gonna make a new clean rip at an angle, that same 46-degree angle. And then from there, I'm gonna go 6 inches. I'm gonna do another angled rip. And then for the top one, I'm just gonna match the bottom in essence. So we're gonna create those 3 pieces. And then from that middle piece, we'll be able to make the 2 end caps. Okay, you might be wondering, where are you, Nick? I'm in my truck and I'm at my mailbox because today my Berlin Build shirt is supposed to show up. The one that I did that was all printify and drop ship from my Squarespace website. I am freaking stoked. And finally, it should be here. I mean, it's supposed to be here. I'm hoping it's here. Oh, please, 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 please. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, it's here. It came. It finally came. I've been really excited. And I've been waiting about a week and a half for this thing to come. And now is the time to open up this bad boy. All right, let's see what we got in here. Ooh, I'm liking the color of the blue. I'm really excited. Blue's my favorite color. Don't know if you've ever noticed that. All right, yes. This is my new t-shirt, Berlin Builds. This is my logo t-shirt. I got this off of my website. which is all new to me. I'm figuring out all this stuff, small business, entrepreneur, all those good things. But if you want a shirt like this or a different color, you can get it at my website in the link down below. Also, I have other funny shirts that I'm gonna pan a little description of right now. You're looking at them. They're awesome. You should go buy them. They're only $15 plus shipping. So I try to keep them really cheap. So I'm not making a lot of money off of these because I want people to be able to rep these things and then advertise my YouTube channel so everyone will come and watch it, and then we'll make all the monies and you'll all have a good time laughing at these fun videos. Thanks. A couple tips on this. Make sure that you're using a newer blade. Probably just a new blade for your circular saw, because if you use an old beat up one, you're just gonna get a lot of chip out and those miters are gonna look like crap. So make sure you're using a newer blade. Also make sure that your blade is an ultra finish fine tooth blade. That's a mouthful. I think that's what it looks like. It's like ultra fine finish on the blade. I like these Diablos. I'll put a link in the description below. I actually have a 6.5 inch diameter saw blade on my saw. You might have a 7 1/4, so make sure that you get the right size blade for your saw before you order it. Now you might be wondering, why are you not ripping this on your table saw, Nick? You can do this on your table saw. I've just found that the track saw is more accurate. When you're doing the table saw, there's more of a likelihood that you're gonna push the board one way or the other, especially when you're doing that middle piece where you've got a mitered edge. Once you've already ripped one mitered edge and you have to use that up against your fence, it's really hard to not damage that while you're pushing hard against that to try and maintain, you know, tightness to the fence and then flatness on the table bed. Using a straight edge and a circular saw is just a lot easier, in my opinion. We've got the 3 main pieces cut, and what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take that center piece and I'm gonna cut it so it's 5'8", and I'm gonna leave some of this left side over here to make that end cap piece over here, and I'm gonna leave some over here to make the end cap piece over here. So I'm gonna take that 5'8" out of the middle of that board, and I'm gonna cut it at a 46-degree angle on each side. This piece is gonna be the left side end cap. So what I've done is I wrote left on it and I wrote left right here. That way I don't get things mixed up. And I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna set this aside for later. I've got my middle piece cut to length, 5'8", and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut the same angles on my bottom and my top. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna line it up. So I'm gonna make a cut here, and I'm gonna line it up with that board, and I'm gonna dial it in so they're exactly the exact same length. What I've done is I've taken these left edges and I've lined them up so that they're perfectly in line. And now taking them over here, or taking you over here, I should say, I have marked exactly where this ends on each of these boards. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slowly dial this in. I'm gonna cut it to, like, just shy of my mark, and then I'll cut it a little bit more until I'm exactly dead on, so everything's exactly the same length. And there they are, all lined up. Now I need to figure out the size of the interior spacing webbing blocks. That's a technical term. So anyways, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip this bottom board, and something that you have to remember and think about is if this is sitting here, you're gonna have your front face coming up like this and then the top going over like this. I need to have a ledger that this mantle will mount onto. I'm gonna use a 2x4, so that's gonna be 1.5 inches thick. So when I'm figuring out how big that block needs to be, if I go from my miter all the way back, I won't be able to put a 2x4 against the wall. I need at least 1.5 inches. So right now, I'm showing 5 5/16 is the distance I have from here to my miter. So I'm just gonna simplify my math and go 5 1/4. I'm gonna subtract 1.5 inches. So that's gonna put me at 4 3/4 inches. And then, just to make things a little bit easier, I'm gonna go down a little bit more. I'm gonna go to 3. So I'm gonna make a 3-inch block. So that means I can come from here to here and have plenty of room to be able to put that ledger on. Next, I need to find out how tall I can make that block. And that is pretty easy to find. You just take your center piece and you measure from the miter to the miter. So short corner of the miter to the short corner of the miter. And I'm coming up with 4 9/16. I'm actually getting more like 4 5/8 minus. Awesome. Apparently I don't know how to hit the record button, but what I did is I drilled a bunch of pocket holes. So for the two end ones, I've got 3 pocket holes, or 3 directions. One that's gonna go on the bottom, one that's going on the side, and one that's going to that front face. And then for the middle web spacer, I've just got 2 pocket holes that are gonna go right into the middle face. I'm not doing them this way and this way because I can't get my impact driver in there to drive those screws. My next step is to take these 3 pieces and carefully line them up how I want them to be. So, my brain, the way it works is I do the top, the middle, and then the bottom, just kind of like I've been doing the whole time. So I'm gonna line up this left edge. I'm gonna double check and make sure I'm lined up over here. Awesome. You wanna make sure that you're tight all through your seam. Now I'm gonna do the same thing with the bottom. Next, I'm taking clear masking tape. I'm gonna run it all down this seam. Freaking kidding me. Done freaking life. Oh boy. There has to be an easier way. If you know an easier way, I'm totally open to suggestions, but this is really freaking frustrating. Oh, freak, come on. Stupid little piece of garbage, come on. Ah, nuts. Freaking stupid. There it is. Ha! See? Wasn't so bad. Oh, freaking. Here we go. Now I'm gonna take some air and blow out any dust that might be in those miters. Okay, now for the big moment, the big fold. There we go. Now I'm gonna start to get this end cap on. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a rough cut to length by holding it in there. I'm gonna cut it about 1/16 of an inch long. This doesn't want to fit in there perfectly the way that I want it to. So I'm gonna teach you now some of the dark arts of finished carpentry. It's called an angle grinder with a flappy disc. That is looking much better, though it does need a little bit of adjusting. By filing away at that back side with that angle grinder, I've made it so that this can fit in here nice and flush. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna glue and pin nail that in place. Having bad luck with some pin nails blowing out today. Now if you get just a little bit of a gap right there, what you can do is you can take like a chisel or something, you can use this rounded part, and you're gonna burnish these edges. See how that just kind of makes everything come together? And now what I can do is I can come in with a wood filler that I'll make from mixing wood glue and a little bit of sawdust from sanding. And I'll be able to kind of just come in and fill that all in and just get a little bit of a sand. Now it's time to do some good old-fashioned sanding. What I'm doing is I'm taking a pencil and dragging a mark all the way across. Now what I need to do is just sand until the pencil mark's off and don't sand that area again, and that way I can know I'm staying really consistent with my sanding pattern. And there you have it, one mitered edge box beam. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more content like this, and I'll catch you on the next one.